This video is sponsored by Skillshare. So I just got back from spending 10 days in Spain, and I only took one camera, 2 lenses, shot 6K video, took some pretty unique photos, and only charged the battery like 1 time. I've got 5 reasons why the Panasonic Lumix S9 is the best travel camera right now. However, there are a couple things about this camera that made me wish that I did have another camera with me while in Spain. But I'll get into those in just a little bit. One of the bucket list items for my wife was to visit La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. I was so pumped for her to be able to experience it, and let me tell you something, it did not disappoint. That place is incredible. The trip to Spain also made sense for my family at this point because my 2 sons are fluent in Spanish, and it kind of gave them an opportunity to use their Spanish in a more immersive scenario. And that was definitely one of my favorite parts about going to Spain is them using their Spanish and even translating for me sometimes. So we spent some time in Barcelona, Madrid, Avila, Segovia, and even went into some of the southern parts of France and Andorra. Seeing some of the castles and cathedrals was just so different than what I'm used to seeing on a daily basis where I live in South Dakota. Just the medieval castles and some of the even older architecture just blew me away. And it's a trip that I know our family is gonna remember for a long time. So as I talk through why I think the S9 is one of the best travel cameras right now, I'm just gonna toss up some of the footage and images that I took with the S9 just to kind of give you an idea of how I was using it. But while this next sequence is up, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any future Lumix videos. So the first reason why I think the Lumix S9 is the best travel camera right now is just the size. Now this is a very compact camera, especially with the newer 18 to 40 millimeter lens. But sometimes with these smaller body cameras, you're gonna have a smaller sensor, but the S9 is a full frame sensor. That's one of the things that sets the S9 apart from a lot of other travel style cameras. A lot of other travel style cameras have fixed lenses on there, so you can't change out the lens if you want to. But with the full frame sensor, you're gonna be able to get a lot of depth of field, and it's gonna be great for a lot of nighttime or low light style shooting. The S9 body also has a flip and tilt screen and a mic input for your mic if you want to do any travel vlogging. The S9 has a really simple button layout and it's going to make it easy to shuffle through your settings. So the compact size of the Lumix S9 is going to allow you to maybe pack an extra lens or just save space in your camera bag where you can put some other items like maybe socks, I don't know. Another reason why I think the Lumix S9 is probably one of the best travel cameras right now is just the lens selection. Lumix has been putting out some great lenses that pair well with the Lumix S9, like the one I already mentioned, the 18 to 40 millimeter. So this is a collapsible lens. So when you have it locked up in your bag, it's gonna be super small, really. The footprint is tiny compared to some of the other cameras. And then you just open it up to get to the different focal lengths, 18, and then 40 millimeter. But even this size right here, if you're just carrying it around with a strap on your wrist, super light, easy to move around. If you're into street photography, this isn't going to be like this huge setup that is going to cause issues on the street. Then the other lens that I took on this trip to Spain is the 28 to 200 millimeter. So what this one's gonna do is give me more of a telephoto style with a small footprint. A lot of times your 70 to 200 millimeter, they're just like huge lenses. They're heavy, they're hard to fit in a camera bag, not fun to travel with. But this 28 to 200 is gonna give me a wide view all the way up to a 200 millimeter telephoto view. But the Lumix 28 to 200 is the smallest and lightest telephoto lens in the world right now. And it pairs perfectly with the Lumix S9 for travel. I'll get into this in just a little bit as well, but this also is an optical image stabilized lens. So you do have this on-off switch for optical image stabilization on this lens, which is gonna give you a dual IBIS on the Lumix S9. So let's say you did get your hands on the Lumix S9 or any other camera for traveling this coming year. You're gonna be taking a lot of footage. You're gonna be taking a lot of photos. You may wanna look into improving your editing skills, and that's where my sponsor Skillshare comes in. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. If you wanna take your editing skills to the next level, learn from other creatives on Skillshare. The one thing that sets Skillshare apart is that the platform is designed by creatives for creatives. And personally, I always resonate more learning from people who speak my creative language, especially when it comes to video editing. You can find photo and video editing classes that are on demand with stackable lessons. Both beginner and advanced classes are available. Maybe you're looking to grow your social media presence to really showcase your work and your art. Take some social media marketing classes and learn from some of the best in the business. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So hit that link, get started with Skillshare, and grow as a photo and video editor. All right, the third reason why I think the Lumix S9 is the best travel camera right now is just the different shoot settings that you had. Now, pretty much everything that I shot on my trip to Spain with my family was shot in 6K open gate. So this little camera, this little guy right here, you have the ability to shoot with the full sensor readout, full frame sensor readout in 6K. And what that's gonna allow you to do is give you the full resolution vertically and horizontally, so however you crop your videos, whether it's for, Instagram Reels that are vertical, or you want more of like a more cinematic layout on your videos, you'll be able to crop those shots, basically one shot, get multiple crops out of it, and that way you don't have to worry about flipping your camera vertically to get some, horizontally to get others. But let's say you don't want those big 6K files that you have to deal with when you go to edit. You also have the MP4 Lite version, which is a 4K open gate setting on the Lumix S9. So really what that means is you could just take those files from your camera to the Lumix Lab app on your phone, and from there, you just post them. Which brings me to my next reason why I think this is the perfect travel camera is just the color management that you have within the camera. So I've been doing video for a long time and I'm used to handling bigger files. I'm also used to handling the Vlog color profile, which this camera has built in, which is gonna give you the flat profile that you can go in and edit and really push those colors in your edit to get the look that you want. However, the Lumix S9 has a built-in real-time LUT feature. So if you have a favorite look that you have, maybe it's a Kodak look, maybe it's a Fujifilm look, maybe it's a LUT from some of your favorite creators, which I have some that you can download for free down in the description. You can take those LUTs and upload them to your camera and shoot in that color profile, which will eliminate that color grading in post when you go to edit. So again, it's another opportunity to just shoot and post right away if that's something that you want to do. All right, the fifth reason why the S9 is the best travel camera this year is the in-body image stabilization. And I brought this up just a little bit ago, combined with a lens like the 28-200, which has optical image stabilization turned on. You then have dual image stabilization with the Lumix S9, which is great, especially at the telephoto focal lengths of something like the 28-200 millimeters. So what the in-body image stabilization is gonna do is just kind of eliminate a lot of those micro jitters. Now, if you're on a wider lens like the 18-40, you might get a little bit of warping on the edges, especially at those wider focal lengths. So if you're doing some walking or, trying to like circle around something, you might get a little bit of warping around those edges. The S9 also has an electronic image stabilization feature that you can turn on and turn off, but it's just gonna crop your image in just a little bit, but give you a heavy stabilized image if you are doing any walking or running with the camera. Then another stabilization feature with the S9 is the Boost IS, which is basically tripod mode. You don't want to move around with it. If you have Boost IS on, you don't want to move around with it. If you don't have a tripod with you and you just want to get a stable shot like this, turn that Boost IS on and it's going to be like you're on a tripod. All right, there are a couple issues that I ran into while traveling with the S9. I don't think that these are necessarily like deal breakers by any means, but I did have a couple issues with the S9 while traveling, and the very first one was that this body is not weather sealed. Now there was a day, thankfully we had really nice weather while we were over in Spain, but there was a day where it was rainy and I was a little nervous about taking this out. The funny thing is that Lumix made a travel camera, basically a content camera, that's not weather sealed. So I don't know what the thought process was there. The lenses are weather, dust, water sealed, but the camera body itself is not weather sealed. The other issue that I ran into with the S9 is that, there's no EVF on this camera. So everything is with the screen. So if it's a bright, sunny day, it's a little difficult to see the types of shots that you're getting. So if this camera did have like a little EVF just on the side, it would make it a lot easier to see the image that you're getting on those bright days. So let me know any of the questions that you have about the S9, especially for travel. We can address those down in the comments and we can get a conversation started down there. Now, I talked about these two lenses because these are the lenses that I traveled with for this trip to Spain. But if you want to see some of the best lenses for the Lumix S9, and yes, these are included, but I have others there as well, make sure you check out this video that's popping up on your screen right here. I go through the best lenses to pair with the Lumix S9. So I will see you over there.